What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode with my pal Alex and Feisty Pants.
Pepsi! It's the choice of my generation. What else are we talking about here? Oh, it's Q&A! Q&A 109! I forgot what I was doing. I turned on the camera and I'm like, what? You ever walk into the room for something and you're like, what did I come in here for? That's what just happened. WWE boy wants to know, do you have a WWE figure collection? Not as big as Grimm's, but do you have one? Believe it or not, this is what I had. I had not just a wrestling figure collection, but I had an action figure collection that rivaled Grimm's. That was one of the things we used to talk about all the time is, oh, your action figure collection is so cool. I actually sold him some original Generation 1 Transformers before I had sold off the rest of my collection. I had wrestlers, Transformers, GoBots, He-Man, Battlestar Galactica, what the hell else is there? Thundercats, G.I. Joe, Star Wars, your mom's house, your other mom's house, and you little bastard back there, your mom's house. No, I'm just kidding. I had so many. The only things I held on to was like a handful of Star Wars figures. I had, when Power of the Force came around in like 1995, and then it went to clearance when Episode 1 started coming around, there was Stormtroopers in the assortment of, in whatever that last assortment was. There was a Stormtrooper, and then there was Luke in the Stormtrooper disguise with a removable helmet so you could take it off and you'd see Luke Skywalker. They were clearanced out to like 97 cents. Do you know how many I had? I stopped counting at 400. I had 400 Stormtroopers between actual Stormtroopers and like, you know, maybe like 50 Luke Skywalkers and Stormtrooper disguise. And I was going to make this whole giant thing. I need you guys to look this up back in the day. Go on to Google and look at Wall Unit Entertainment Center or something like that. And it was just like this set of shelving, right? And you could put your giant ass tube television on there, your VCR. Who knows what a VCR is? None of you do. Well, for a few of you guys that are my age, you do. But most of you kids don't know what a VCR is. Look it up. God damn it, it's a real thing. And I was going to get like a white lacquer finish one and make it the Death Star. I had a Millennium Falcon. I was going to put in there, you know, where the TV would go, because that would have been the big hangar bay. But more or less, Feisty Pants has a bunch of wrestlers. He's got about 20 or so, and that have been carried down from B1, my nephew. What the? And I'll link you the Feisty Pants Has Wrestlers video. And then there's a number of wrestlers, like Ryoga sent in a bunch of divas for me. But, I pass him right down to Feisty Pants. He's got a ton of Transformers. I mean, So I don't actually have an action figure collection anymore, but Feisty Pants does, and it's fucking huge. James Woodcock? Oh, James! Oh, I couldn't read my handwriting. I'm so sorry. Listen, if anybody hasn't seen, James and his kids are doing a web show. They're hilarious. They're having a lot of fun, and that's really what it's all about. It doesn't even matter if you're reading from a phone book. As long as you're having fun doing what you're doing, hats off to you. They're adorable. James wants to know, what do you think about Star Wars spinoff of a young Han Solo movie? I love it. Han Solo is my favorite character. I cannot wait to see the story, because everybody in the Star Wars universe wants to see the card game between Han Solo and Lando Calrissian, Colt 45, and how Han won the Millennium Falcon and Chewbacca, its co-pilot, from Lando, because that used to be Lando's ship back in the day. I can't wait to see it. I want to see the rivalry with Boba Fett, because supposedly they go a long way back. Anthony, would you ever want to play baseball? You know, coming out of high school, I could have played baseball. You know what I was missing was, when I tried out for the team, I was missing what was called organized play. Like, you know, all these kids, they go play Little League. I didn't play Little League. I played just after school with whoever was off from school that day or what was already done with their homework. Like, I tried out for the team, and they had no second baseman, but they wouldn't take me because I didn't know a couple of things, and they were just unwilling to teach it. In today's day and age, if I was going through high school again, they would totally say, oh yeah, you could play. And I would be great. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back in time to high school age, and I'm going to become a Major League Baseball superstar. Super duper star. Alfie Saxby wants to know, he watched the National Geographic special that about the action figure collection that they did on me and Grimm, and then they turned it into, oh my god, look at all this crap these guys have, and they turned it into like such a waste. I said to Alfie that that everything was, the only parts that were real, I should say, was I did get to meet Andy Van Slyke. We did play catch in the street. We had lunch. He spent the whole day. And the baseball cards are real. I really have like a gazillion cards and all sorts of memorabilia. What's not real is that they're not all over the room every day. Me and my brother, we actually set up everything. We decorated the room for like, God, it took us almost 4 hours the night before they came to film. They came to film for 3 days, and he wrote down a bunch of things he wants me to talk about. Did they meet Grimm? No, we were all doing Grimm's toy show. It was before I started my own show, and we were all doing Grimm's toy show, and they got a hold of Grimm through popular searches on the internet, and they were like, oh, hey, you know, we want to do this show. I hear, you know, we see you have this giant action figure collection. And then I had to actually apply for my own episode, and I applied. I said, listen, I don't have action figures, but I do have baseball cards of one player. And they're like, you have that many baseball cards of one player? And they're like, instant show. Yes, we were paid. Did I sign up for the show? Did they find you? What parts did they make up? They made up a lot. The guy was really he really had a PhD. He just wasn't practicing, but or something like that. I forget what he does. I think he was practicing. He lived down in like Manahawkin, I think. I don't know. They didn't give us a script to follow, but they did tell us to say, look, this is where we want you to go. I need you guys to have a conversation to get it there. And it was up to us to say what we wanted to say to get us to that next point. How much money did I put into the collection? Oh, dude, countless dollars. I've been building that collection since 1987. Or earlier. And what made me want to... Because, you know what? It's a giant collection. And I said, I need to get this collection recognized. Because it's an awesome thing. I have this killer hobby. And it's awesome. And, you know, I didn't have my web show at the time. And I said, how can I get people to say, I have this giant action figure collection. That I have this giant baseball card collection. So I said, yeah, let's do the show. Funniest story on the set, there is a segment where we went out back to burn 50 baseball cards. And I said, yeah, we can find it. What he wanted me to do was to burn my serial numbered 1 of 1, like the only one of its kind. He wanted me to burn that at first. I said, get the hell out of here. I said, when I sell this collection, I'm going to need that as an anchor of like how great this collection is. So I said, I have these 1989 Donruss MVP cards. I have like literally almost 2,000 of them. I'll grab 50 of those and we'll burn them out on the grill. It took us, are you ready for this? 3 clicky lighters, a whole gallon of lighter fluid, and 7 books of matches before we got a tiny flame to go up on these baseball cards because of all the wax. Food, you psychologist, man. And was it worth it? Yeah, I totally had a great time, even though it turned out to be the complete opposite of what we set out to be. They didn't tell me Andy Van Slyke was coming. They hinted at something, though. They said, have you ever met Andy Van Slyke? I was like, no, he's just some guy that I follow in baseball. He was cool. I chose to follow him. And they said, you know, and they hinted at, like, they're either bringing, like, the questions they asked me before Andy came into the house was, they asked me about how much do I think my collection is worth, would I ever sell it, and had I ever met Andy Van Slyke before. So we figured, me and my brother, we figured they were either bringing a buyer or they were bringing Andy Van Slyke. And it turned out to be Andy Van Slyke. It was cool. We played catch in the street. We ate. At Bear Johnny wants to know, where do I work this week? I'm working for the WWE. Get the F out. We covered the draft. I will link you my predictions on the draft from like last week. And if you saw the show yesterday, I talked about the pay-per-view later tonight, and I talked more about the draft on it. Rolando, sorry. Have you ever been to another country? No, I have not. Jacob Fuller wants to know, have you and Feisty Pants ever been to a Yankees game? Not a Yankees game. I've been taking him to the Blue Claws a couple of games, you know, to kind of build his tolerance to sit in a 3-hour game. And then, you know, it is a long ride to Yankee Stadium. You know, it's a lot to ask of a kid. Hot Rod 271 for the win wants to know, what are my favorite combiner teams from the Transformers Combiner Wars series? Definitely the Aerobots and the Stunticons. They were the first favorites for me back as a kid. That's who they are now. David Griffin wants to know, when will I take Feisty Pants to see Grimm's wrestling ring? You know, when the situation calls for it. Who is your least favorite characters on the show Supernatural? I love Supernatural. I love everybody on the show. There's not really anybody I hate. Do you think Major League Baseball, along with other sports, should have action figures? David, there's this thing called Todd McFarlane's Sports Figures. He has made sports figures, action figures. They're in toy stores. You can find them everywhere. And he has made them for all the 4 major sports for the past umpteen years. Like, a long time. Check it out. I bet you didn't know. Your reaction to Doo-Hop and Jimmy in the car. Oh, I didn't see it. They're okay, though, so it's good. What changes to Twitter would you like to see? I don't think Twitter needs to make any changes. I think they're doing just fine. Your thoughts on bra and panties matches? They never lived up to their potential. Who was your toughest boss battle in EverQuest? Oh, this is a great question. Okay. There is a weapon I carry called your Epic Weapon, and what they did was they introduced those back a long time ago. And then there came your Epic Weapon 2.0, like your second best weapon, you know? And it involved your original Epic. So if you didn't have it, you needed to get it. And if you couldn't get it, there was a 1.5 pre-quest. And what you could do is, if you didn't have your weapon, you could do the pre-quest that brought you to your 1.5 quest. And then when you finished your 1.5, there was one final step that brought you to your 2.0. Then there was an expansion called the Depths of Dark Hollow, and you had to go to this castle Dreadspire. It was a raid zone, and it was like, oh, it was brutal, because they weren't just a straight fight. You had to think about it. They were all like puzzles, and you had to do it right or you failed. And out of one of the bosses in Dreadspire, dropped the chest, which gave you your 2.5 weapon, and that was some tough shit, because we must have beat it 12 times, as hard as it was each time. We beat it 12 times before it actually dropped, and because it's random, it doesn't always drop every time, and that had to be the toughest boss in my entire EverQuest career. Which steel cage do I prefer, the blue bars or the fence? I like the fence, believe it or not. The blue bars kind of sell me as a time where you know, it wasn't as serious, you know. Since the draft is coming back, what pay-per-views do you want to see return? Older pay-per-views? Well, yeah, I'm a fan of Elimination Chamber, and I haven't heard that they're doing that again this year. Even though they canceled it last year and then had it, like, over the summer, I haven't heard that they're doing it this year, so I hope they try that again. Did you see School of Rock with Jack Black and Miranda? Yes, I did. It was I mean, you know, it was a big movie back in the day. I figure everybody's seen it. Everybody's seen it. They even have a TV show based on it now. It's awful. Your thoughts on NBC pulling the plug on Crowded? I did not hear that they pulled the plug on Crowded. Are you sure? And do you see J-Man making it into the WWE? I don't even know who J-Man is. I don't know. I don't know who he is. And lastly, it is Yahir Diaz's birthday. Happy birthday over the weekend. Happy birthday. That is all for Q&A 108. Leave your questions in the comments below. I check them every week. I answer them every week, every Sunday. Here it is. We got Battleground to review later on tonight. Check that out later on. It'll be up sometime in the wee hours of the morning. And I guess I'll see you later.